O'Neill, 2 L's. I serve the SGC under a General Hammond.
We're explorers. You see, we're from another planet.
The unstable vortex of a forming wormhole. Kawoosh.
Indeed.
Hello and welcome back everybody to another episode of the Kawoosh podcast, and this is actually the final episode of the first season of Stargate SG-1, so we are at within the Serpent's grasp.
We made it.
Yes, we made it to the end.
Remember when you thought we wouldn't make it?
Yeah, I know.
We made it.
It was not that long ago.
No, it was not that long ago. We kind of...
So yeah, let's get into it, I would say.
Remember back in the 90s when you had the season's finale and then you had to wait a year?
Well, yeah, almost a year.
Almost a year.
Nowadays it's like 2 or 3 years.
And then you just forget the series exists and that's like, oh wait, you know.
And your whole cast is grown up.
Let's not even
in their
go there.
30s
Let's
and they're
not
playing
even go
15.
there anymore. I don't want to see that one. I have zero interest in that one. Okay, let's go.
So, this episode picks up right at the end of the previous one, and we open up at the SGC, where General Hammond is shredding some papers, and Jack enters the office.
Remember when you actually had to shred paper? now they would show him deleting files on the computer.
Yeah, that's actually true, yeah. And they're still in the process of shutting down. Hammond is actually planning on retiring, which he apparently was before the series started.
I wrote down back in the 90s saying that was a death sentence. Like, remember when you couldn't say that you were retiring? You also couldn't show pictures of your family back home. You know, there was this whole thing that if you did that, you were gonna die. Never talk about the boat you just bought. You know, that's a double sentence right there.
Yeah, but it's actually really cool because later on he will retire, and we even see his grandchildren, all that stuff. So we get to know his private life a little bit. But
I do wonder if this was like a setup that maybe he wasn't gonna come back.
Maybe they were keeping their options open.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But Jack can't believe it's over, and he doesn't like the orders. Hammond went back to McKinsey twice, apparently, even the Secretary of Defense and the President, but they still want to bury the gate. Then in the briefing room, the team is talking, and Jack says Hammond has given up. Tilk wants to leave, and Daniel says they should all leave to the coordinates that he was given in the other reality, but the others are still not convinced. Carter reminds him that this is a serious offense against their orders, and Tilk mentions that if the planet was not on the Abydos cartouche, they may not expect an attack. And he calls it a medical strike.
He called, instead of a surgical strike, which is very nice.
And eventually the team decides to go, even Carter. Mm-hmm. So the gate activates and an alarm sounds for unauthorized activation.
Which they could have turned that off.
Yeah.
They could have. They just wanted to be dramatic little shits.
Yeah, and then Hammond walking down the hallways.
They wanted to upset the dad. That's...
Yeah. So he walks towards the gate room, and one of the blast doors closes right in front of him. And SGC is waiting in the gate room for the MALP, which should be arriving at the other side in a moment. And they have video, and it looks ancient Egyptian. So Tilk says it is possibly Quaouled. At that point, Hammond breaches the doors, and the soldiers rush in, and they run through the gate just as Hammond sees them leave.
And that's the last shot we were missing from the opening titles.
Yeah, the shot from the back when you see them rushing into the Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Then they arrive through the gate on the other side, and they are walking around with their night vision goggles because it was very dark on the other side. And it turns out that they're in a golden room full of writing. Jack tells Daniel to send back the MALP, which he does.
And I had just written down, how will they hide the MALP? And then they say, send it back. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, but it's actually very functional because the gate works, and in a moment it will no longer work.
Yes.
So they wanted to show this. I don't think you're that tactical in the writer's room.
I don't know. I mean, you don't want to add theft of MALP.
Of MALP.
To, your...
So they wander around the room and they can't really find a door. But it is filled with what Teal'c calls shipping containers.
Which makes me go, oh, so they're on a ship. And it takes them forever to figure out that they're actually on a ship.
Yeah. And they open one of the cases and they find weapons. And Teal'c calls them Z-Nigital. Smaller, lower power than the staff weapons. The first shot stuns and the second shot kills.
And the third, happily and...
Yeah, that will happen later on, but
Yeah,
the
and
third
the-
one disintegrates.
Which is very handy for cleanup.
And the only reason they did that was because in that scene they needed to hide the bodies. So somebody came up with the idea, what if the third shot disintegrates?
I mean,
Which
there were
makes no
crates
sense,
all
and
over.
they had to take that into the lore for the rest of the series with everybody commenting
There were
on
so
it.
many shipping crates. You could have
Yeah.
just stuffed them in a shipping
Yeah, but that was
crates.
somewhere else. That was in another room without crates.
It was the... Never mind.
Yeah, so Jack says let's call it a Z gun because that's easier.
Which is so American. Like, just call things what they are. Like,
Yeah, but they give it like a really complicated name.
Zach Nicotel.
Is that digital?
Zach Nicotel. It's...
I don't know. Suddenly, a noise starts building up, and they are all thrown to the ground.
Not Teal'c.
Are you? Was Teal'c still standing?
Yeah, he stumbles. But
okay.
he's like, what was that? And everybody's like, wah, boom! Everybody failed their savings throw. Except for Teal'c, because he's a badass.
Yeah. Teal'c tells them to dial home immediately, but the gate won't activate, even though it just worked a minute ago.
Yep.
And then the wall slides open, and they quickly hide as the Serpent guards enter. And they open a case, and a floating ball comes out of it. And they all
I'm
kneel.
sorry. Can you just say that again?
A floating ball.
It's just... Sorry.
Like, that's what it is, right?
I know. It's...
And then they kneel and they walk away. And it's very funny because apparently those helmets do not have peripheral vision because they weren't hiding very well, but they just went straight by them.
And I especially love Jack's hiding place. He hides behind the dial
Yeah.
home... The dial...
DHD,
The
yeah.
DHD, thank you. And I'm like, what? No! What? No!
Nobody noticed.
And then Daniel's all like, oh no, I left my goggles there. You left your Jack right there. Like, you know, nobody sees them. This is the point where the DM goes, it would just be too complicated. Oh no, they didn't spot you.
Yeah. The episode would have been over.
Very quickly.
Daniel, of course, wants to know what the floating ball is, and Teal'c says it's a long-range communication device like television. More like an iPhone, actually, with a FaceTime on it. But, okay. Teal'c opens the door, because now that he knows where it is, he can open it, and they enter a hallway. And it's going to be very familiar to the viewers, because that hallway is doing a lot of work in the
I
series.
love that hallway. I love that they made their ship in a pyramid design. That way, that hallway can be used for every floor. And they use it very well, because it's very good. It has a very good design. And I love that later on, like, I don't know where,
Yeah.
but Jack goes like, don't you just feel like we've been walking this hallway forever? But it is a very cool hallway.
Yeah, it has the slanted walls to suggest the pyramid form.
And it has this secondary corridor where
Yeah.
they can handily hide whenever the Serpent guard passes.
And they do that like 5 times
They
in
do
this
that
episode.
a lot.
This episode is actually mainly walking through hallways and hiding.
Well, this is the part of the campaign where you are discovering that you're on a ship, discovering what the purpose is of the ship, where the ship is going. I mean, it made sense to me.
So, at the SGC, Harriman briefs Hammond that it was SG-1 that escaped, and they escaped to the coordinates Daniel provided. Then the leader of SG-2, whose name I didn't catch, I'm not sure if they told us the name, he says, or asks if he should go and get them. And Hammond says they would only be brought back for court-martial. But the colonel says he wants to go help since O'Neill saved his life once.
We have a guest on the podcast today.
Apparently, yeah.
I think she's upset because I'm on her chair,
Yeah.
which you just cleaned.
Back on we know it's a ship, but they don't know it yet. They are still moving through the hallways, and they find a room with a sarcophagus in it. It also has a window, through which they can see hyperspace. And this is where they realize they're on a ship.
This is where the DM is like, I'm just gonna put a window there. There's no window there, but they still haven't figured it out. So, this way they will know they're on a ship.
Yeah. Then back at the SGC, they are prepping the gate, and SG2 is ready to go get SG1, and Hammond wants them to be brought back alive and well, but when they try to dial, the last chevron won't lock. That's because it's a ship and they're in hyperspace.
Well, the good news is they're on their way to Earth.
Well, we don't know that yet.
Well, where else would they go?
I know. The team on the ship gets discovered by a lone guard, and Jack distracts him by asking if there's a bathroom around. And then they shoot him with a Zat. And this is where we find out that the third shot disintegrates the body. And this is a decision that the makers later regretted. But anyway, Carter noticed that when the guards hit the window, it reacted as a force field, not as a glass. I wrote it down because I thought it was going to be important, but they never really come back to the fact that it's not glass.
No.
Probably was just some technobabble to keep Carter busy.
I really do think that, there is some level of... Because sometimes sentences are spoken by a character, and I think that should have been the other character, but I really do think that somebody goes through these line for line and measures out how much people are saying. Sometimes it feels like this character needs more speaking parts.
Maybe, yeah.
I always have a feeling that
Yeah.
they're trying to balance it out, except for Teal'c.
Yeah, because he's a silent character. Yeah. So they wonder if Teal'c can maybe fly the ship, but it is new technology according to him, and he can't. So
that's like asking anyone on Earth, hey, you can fly this plane, right? That's not how that works.
He suggests they move on since it's a sarcophagus in the room and they're not left alone for long. So they go back into the hallway and they have to evade more guards. And they hide in, like you said, one of this side room kind of thing, and they can see through a doorway, and they can see a bay with attack gliders in it, and they're being prepped. So they realize that they're on a ship and probably on the way to Earth.
This is the only room that doesn't feel real.
Yeah, it's very CGI.
It is very CGI.
And Carter says they probably have a lot of time since it would take them a year in hyperspace to reach Earth.
Which made me write down, did they pack snacks? Because...
Well, no, they don't. They didn't know they were going to.
Well, no, but do they have rations? They have,
The ship probably has, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but they've been there a while. Have they stumbled onto a bathroom?
It's unclear how big it is, actually.
Yeah, and how long they've been running around. But,
It looks like a pretty big ship, but we only see a couple of hallways and a
It's just-
CGI attack fighter bay.
do they have plumbing? These are questions that I ask myself.
They notice that down the hallway they are moving the sarcophagus, and they start following the guards, and suddenly other personnel that appears out of nowhere, scantily clad women and priests.
Basically, they just went, what costumes do we have? And
Yeah.
then they put them on extras. That's basically what happened. Also, it's easier to get someone out of the sarcophagi and then move him instead of moving the entire sarcophagus.
You would
but
think
they
that.
wanted the big reveal, probably.
Yeah, and they moved back into the cargo bay we already were with the Stargate and the floating ball.
Yeah, moving the floating ball to the sarcophagus would have been
way
easy.
easier, yeah.
It's very much like, no, you come to me.
It is a cool room though, with the Stargate.
Yeah, true.
Apophis appears in the floating ball and he tells them the day is upon them and he will join them soon. But first they must heed the words of his son, and the sarcophagus opens, revealing Skara, who is now Klorel, son of Apophis.
Which he was chosen by a different family way back.
Yeah.
Did they steal him? Did they lose favor? Or did they be like, you know what? No, yoink. What happened there? There's this whole political intrigue that
No, it's just the writers that wanted to bring him back and just conveniently forgot that it was taken by a different family. Yeah. Because Apophis chose a wife, not a son.
Yeah.
But
maybe the wife went, and now he has a son. But sweetie, no. I don't know.
So the crew of the ship leaves and SG1 is still in hiding. Jack wants to go grab Skara while the rest goes around placing C4 to blow up the ship. But not everybody is convinced. except for Daniel, who thinks it's a good idea. They
No.
might be able to reach Skara inside.
I wrote down Teal'c's face when Daniel says that, because Daniel's are like, he could fight it, and Teal'c in the background he pulls this very Teal'c-like face, like, I'm not going to argue with
Yeah,
you because
this again.
this again. You're not gonna listen to me. I guess I'll just go along with it. Like,
Yeah.
Teal'c has a lot of patience.
And Carter wants to know if there's a contingency plan for if it fails, and Jack says that's what C4 is for.
Yeah, they didn't really think this through. They basically go, Skara, snap out of it, and then he doesn't snap out of it, and they don't really have a plan.
But they didn't really have a plan. The only plan they had was go to this place, find out what it
I
is,
know.
and blow it up.
Yeah,
that was
I know.
the extent of the idea. Jack and Teal'c go find Klorel on the bridge, and they take out the guards, and they overpower Klorel, and then close the doors, shooting the mechanism, which is like one of the symbols on the wall is like in has some depth, and it's like a lever. That's basically it. Cool effect though, because you really have to look at the wall to see if you can find it.
And then the doors have to be opened again. And I would have loved... I know that would be just a different costume, and it makes no sense to make a different costume. But I would have loved to see a Jafar mechanic, like, just showing up in a totally different outfit than a soldier is like, okay, what seems to be the problem? And just starting to work on that
Yeah,
door. It's
we
just
only
soldiers.
see
but
priests, priestesses.
priestesses.
What do you call them? Female priests or
I
servants?
had a feeling that they just were the incubators. I don't know.
Well, it's not a lot of fabric anyway. And
Okay,
then
no,
the
but-
soldiers. That's
And I know that making a different costume for that, it just would have been hilarious to me. Like lower decks of a Klorel ship. That would be fun.
in the corridor. Meanwhile, Carter and Jackson are sneaking around again, and they get to the glider bay, theorizing that they must have fuel so they can be blown up in a chain reaction. So they start placing explosives.
Which makes sense, but why would you put it on a glider? Because then if a glider glides off, it would just blow up just that one glider. I don't know. I think they only had the glider in that room. I don't think they actually had the room.
I don't think we actually see them go up to the gliders.
Yes, well, yeah, she goes to the bottom part and then she puts C4
Oh,
on
well,
it.
they probably have one part of the glider. Yeah.
You can tell it's C4 because it says C4 on it.
It probably does that in real life.
It
too.
does,
Yeah.
it does. And like these bombs that they put, it has put this
Yeah, face towards enemy.
Face towards enemy and stuff like that, which just goes to show that, you know.
So Jack tries to speak to Skara, but it doesn't work.
Big surprise.
Klorel says nothing of the host survives, and he taunts O'Neill as outside the guards are trying to override the doors. Then O'Neill takes the Z gun and he bluffs that he will use it, and he orders Teal'c to let go and shoots. Klorel falls and starts shouting in his normal voice, so Jack rushes over to Skara and he asks, Skara asks if he's still his friend and if he can forgive him for what he is about to do.
Which is very unhelpful, Skara. It would have been very easy to just go, they're going to Earth! They're going to attack you! Like, what is this?
That would steal us the reveal of the end of the episode.
Like, we don't know yet that they're going to Earth. Like, this...
Before he can say more, he changes back to Klorel and the guards breach the door. They order Teal'c to release Klorel or they will kill O'Neill. Teal'c says he will kill Klorel if they do that, but he will also, and that will also kill the host. So in the end, it's kind of a standoff, a very complicated standoff.
Yeah, and also, I don't know. Like, they could have shot him in the back 4 times while they were
but
doing the standoff.
The whole episode, and this is one of my main issues, it might be a big word for it, but it is a lot of build up to what is supposed to come. So there's a lot of waiting, a lot of walking around corridors, a lot of postponing
To be
everything.
fair, it was a very cool quarter. Like, but yes, indeed. I just said it.
Indeed.
Indeed. It is a lot of setup.
Yeah. And they are brought back to the Stargate room again, where Klorel presents the prisoners to Apophis. But they don't know Carter and Jackson are also in there.
Which is weird, because he says, are you sure they were alone? And he's like, yes, father, I am sure they were alone. 1, you didn't check. You didn't look at any camera images, nothing. Also, Apophis knows that this is a team of 4. He knows that.
Should know.
He he's seen every time you've seen
I
them.
I know,
There's
but
four of them.
but he doesn't really recognize them or make it seem like he knows who they are.
It's
Yeah.
Teal'c and Jack.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like,
Yeah.
this is the traitor and the man who recruited him. And Apophis doesn't go, odd. There's normally 4 of these idiots. Like, it's...
Well, he does ask, did you find any more? And it makes
and he's
sense
like,
that...
no, father. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
but
that makes sense.
It makes sense that Klorel doesn't know.
No, that makes sense, but it doesn't make sense
Yeah.
to me that Apophis isn't like, did you check under your bed? Because these these are sneaky.
Yeah. Klorel asks if he should keep them until Apophis arrives, but he tells Klorel to kill Teal'c in the most painful way possible and then get rid of O'Neill. So a priest and some of the others arrive with a ritual knife to kill Teal'c, but Jack starts talking to Skara to convince him not to do it. And suddenly, Klorel orders them to stop and take them to the Peltac. And I wrote down whatever that is, and apparently that's just the bridge of the ship.
Okay. I forgot when I wrote Sam. Oh, when Sam is hiding behind the gate and they bring in Jack and Teal'c, she makes this face like, I knew it. Like, dagnabbit.
Yeah.
I knew this was going to go wrong.
Carter and Jackson overheard it all, and she wants to go after them, but Jackson wants to know when they will blow up the ship. She has set a timer as a last resort.
I like that they take this moment to go like, okay, but do we have a backup plan?
Yeah.
Are we still going to blow it up? And she's like, I set a timer. And he goes, okay. Like, it was a very well acted moment. Like, they knew that they were basically setting a timer to their doom.
So Jack and Teal'c are brought onto the bridge, and Klorel asks if they want to go home to their planet. And Jack says yes. And Klorel commands the guard to do something, and Teal'c tries to warn Jack, but he gets thrown to the ground before Teal'c can finish the sentence.
Again, Teal'c could have formulated that sentence different.
I know.
So the information
just
that was necessary was in the first part of the
Instead
sentence.
of yelling, Jack, hold on or something,
Yeah, he goes like, Jack,
prepare
yourself for acceleration, then deceleration. And I'm like,
extreme deceleration.
extreme. Like, Teal'c, you're kind of a little cunt because I think you did this on purpose. Like,
It's funny though.
It is funny, but you could have easily just selected Jack, hold on. Like, no, O'Neill. Like,
Also, the way Jack dramatically gets thrown to the ground.
I mean, he does love being dramatically thrown to the ground. It's a very big part of his job. They have these balls, and the first thing that came to mind was like, oh no, you can't use those. Not all of them has been accounted for. I had this very big...
They look like a planter, yeah.
I was like, no, don't touch them.
I do wonder who and why they came up with the idea that for some reason balls is how they control their ships.
I think maybe they tried something, but they just had that planet where they tried to make a desk and they failed. You know, that the computer with the little strips on them to make it look high tech and stuff. And I really think that they were afraid that the technology was gonna look too silly. And, you know, you can't go wrong with balls. I mean,
Because this
it's
will be-
ethereal
yeah.
and it's fantasy and it works by touch, you
Later
know.
on, when they have all the cargo ships and stuff, they all have this ball that's on a stick and acts like a steering wheel that they
Well,
can
they
hold
went
on
with
and-
it, you know.
Yeah, they
like,
really
we
went with
started
it.
with the balls, we're gonna keep at it with the balls. Like,
Then the ship, because Jack gets thrown to the ground and the ship gets out of hyperspace, and through the window they can see they are entering our solar system. And we cut back to the SGC, where Herman is briefing Hammond that they have a signal on a long-range satellite. Hammond realizes that Jackson was right, and he takes a red phone to call the president. And then on the ship, Carter and Jackson are evading the guards in the hallway, again, while we see the gliders prepping for an attack, again! And they are readying for launch. And then we cut back to the SGC, where Hammond is prepping for an all-out attack, and he's taking command of the base again. Like, it's very cool.
which means that eventually someone is gonna have to go through all the shredded documents and tape them back
take 'em-
together.
Well, we can only hope they do have digital copies. There's a lot of computers on the base, so...
If they started with those, then they're in trouble.
Then we cut back to the ship one last time, where Carter and Jackson have found their way to the bridge. They are ready to attack, so they throw in a smoke grenade to lure the guards and they start shooting. Teal'c and Jack join in unarmed, and Jackson gets grabbed by Klorel, who uses the glowing hand device on Jackson.
And Teal'c's hand-to-hand combat is really cool. Like, there's some really cool moves in there. I just needed to point that out.
No, but he really takes that seriously. Also, like Christopher Judge, he really went for those kind of things. Like, Teal'c is proficient in any combat. So this forces Jack to take action, and in the end, he shoots Skara, and he rushes over to speak to him one last time, and Skara smiles at him.
And you know, if I was Skara, I would have said, O'Neill, I have kneecaps. You could have shot me in the kneecap. Like, this is a proficient soldier. He could have just shot him in the kneecap.
Yeah, but they clearly wanted this.
They wanted to get rid of Skara.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he comes back. So all this dramatic stuff and the final goodbye, I'm pretty sure it's for nothing.
Did they just put him in the sarcophagus then?
I am unsure. I need to look it up. Okay. But it is a pretty good bet that it just put him in a sarcophagus and brought him back, because it literally can bring people back from death.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. But yeah,
So Teal'c calls the others to the window, and they stand in front of it, and they can see Earth. Apparently, they traveled faster than inspected. Carter also informs them that the gliders are ready for an attack, and as the camera pulls back from the window, it goes into space, and we see the ship, and it pulls back even further, revealing that there is another ship, and they are both in orbit around Earth.
And one of them probably has a office, and then the other one is where they are.
And then it says, "To be continued." Because that's the way we used to end series.
To be continued.
Yeah. But like I said in the beginning of the podcast, they did have at least a 2-season order when they started out, so they knew that they were going to be able to continue at least the story and finish this.
Yeah, but it is still a way to keep people talking about your series.
And and dramatically, so they will come back after your 4-month hiatus. That's
Well, we made it.
Yeah, we went through the first season completely. So what do you think of this episode?
It does feel a little padded out now that you pointed it out to me. Especially because it was already a kind of a to be continued. So it's kind of a 3-parter, not really a 3-parter, but it kind of is a 3-parter because you need to see the last one.
Yeah, the episodes all linked together. So you need to at least know of them.
So I really wonder, like, how long, like, are we gonna get a resolution in 5 minutes, like Stargate Atlantis style, or are we gonna spend the entire episode?
I think it's gonna be the whole episode, because this is the attack on Earth.
So more hallways.
Probably it's probably gonna be a lot of fighting in the base in the SGC. We're gonna probably see the ships. I don't really remember, so I'm actually curious to continue and see.
So are we gonna continue?
Well, that depends. Do you wanna?
Well, yeah, but do we now first have to do a clip show episode? Like, what do we need? Or do we just go right into season 2? Do we have to wait 4 months? Like, what are the rules here?
I think we're gonna take a little bit of a break so we can catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
We're also working on our Alien RPG campaign that will be coming out soon.
What? You run Alien RPGs?
Yes, that is actually our main thing on this channel.
You have to put, like, surprised Pikachu face on my face now. Like,
I can do that.
Yeah, I know, like...
So yeah, we'll see if we when we continue. I hope that everybody at home at least enjoyed revisiting this with us.
Maybe we finish this and it turns out like one person watched.
No, there's more than one.
Maybe
it's
that
not
person
a lot,
watched.
But there's that person watched 14 times. I really enjoyed going through the whole series again.
And as far as a startup season, it really...
It does a lot of work.
It does a lot of work. And it has a few missteps, but not a lot.
The good thing is it does have good characters.
Yes.
There's not like we have our nitpicks on Daniel Jackson.
Yeah,
We-
but as a character, like,
But it
as
works.
it works, and characters are allowed to be flawed.
yeah, it's not. He's not that annoying that you don't want to watch
It's
him.
not like in certain other series that you're like, when is this character gonna die? I am so tired of him, and then they drag him along
Season 6.
throughout the
Spoilers.
entire Delta Quadrant, and just
Yeah, exactly.
like sometimes you just have characters that you want to be like, I never got into Buffy because the first season I'm like, okay, when does the Xander dude die? He doesn't. You know what? I can't watch this. Like,
Yeah, but the thing is, and because you only have 4 characters, it does narrow it down. You can focus on them. We have some standout episodes on these characters.
and they go into a little bit of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Tropes. But it's not like Carter is always the damsel in distress. Or
No, not at all.
Always like that, or like the big soldier thing, and
They do have their templates,
Yes,
their
but-
archetypes, but
but they do
they feel
they-
fleshed out. They
Yeah.
feel like real people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of world building, which I really like because the original movie doesn't offer up a lot of world building. So
No.
they had a really good idea opening that up. And okay, they changed some stuff because in the movie it's not really a larva and stuff like that. But I never minded that. Like, okay, it felt weird when they started out. Like, oh, this seems different than the movie, but this works. This really works, and it builds its very own identity. And it has a lot of action, which keeps it interesting.
I had fun.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's funny.
It is funny, and it only gets funnier because I've been watching clips. For some reason, TikTok knows that I'm watching Stargate, and it's
It
showing
recognizes you from.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe I just sometimes I do see things and then I linger on them, and then TikTok is like, you like things like, yes, that's how algorithms work. So
Exactly.
But
Yeah. I already looked ahead a little bit because I was making some thumbnails for the second season, and I was very happy to see that there were some moments that we talked like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna come back to this, or are they just gonna gloss over this or that happened. And there are some episodes that go
Oh,
back to some of the minor issues we had and address them.
cool.
So yeah, very interesting. And I forgot, so this is really cool to rediscover those things.
All right, let's go. Season 2.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not sure how long of a break we're gonna take. We're gonna see if we can build up some episodes so we can have a regular schedule again. And in the meantime, I hope we can bring our campaign to our channel and
in it.
finish that up. Yeah.
I am very heroic.
No, we have
So much flailing.
we have you playing Kang Hanul, a new character. Well, it's a campaign, so everybody made their own character. We have Rosanna join us, we have Chelsea joining us, we have Yella joining us, and we have Ennio joining us. So
And he is there.
yeah, I have to be there.
You have to be there.
Yeah.
That sounds so sad.
I have to be there. Yeah, the
Like,
forever GM.
the forever GM.
That's not true. That's
That's
not,
not
true.
true.
There's at least 2 stories on the
Yeah.
channel that I was a player in. So, yeah, we're recording session 3 soon, and when I finally get the opening credits done, we will be able to start posting episodes because we already finished 6 of them. They're ready. They're edited.
By they, he means he. Like,
Yeah.
I just show up and like
And sit down and drink a lot and
I bring the chairs to the garage and the drinks and,
So, yeah,
I order
so-
takeout after. I do things.
yes, you do think so. That is all coming up. So campaign Alien RPG. It's called War of the Colonies, and season 2 of Stargate SG1 on the Kawoosh podcast. So wrapping things up, where can people find you online? Except for this YouTube channel will be
Nowhere currently.
No-
Like I'm
okay,
just.
nowhere.
I should really get back into it, but currently I'm nowhere.
You should
There's-
get back on TikTok to promote your books.
Not
Evie
only my
has
books.
2 books out
Yes.
under the pseudonym Evie Belknap. It's a vampire story, and it is a fantasy, cozy fantasy story, or urban
Do
fantasy.
you not remember? Or
No,
do you,
I'm
are
just
you...
thinking, how do I describe it in like 2 words, and it's impossible.
That's not good.
No, it is. It's an incredible.
But we're
book.
like way off base
I'm just
now.
promoting stuff now. So,
Stuff!
stuff. Alien RPG coming soon. Season 2 of the Kaboosh podcast coming soon. 2 books out already. 3rd one coming soon-ish.
That's his way of saying you haven't edited for 6 months, Evie. Get back to it.
Exactly. And you can find me on Instagram as Arne Kustermans and on Blue Sky and on YouTube as Iridonian. I am also on TikTok as Iridonian, but I do not post things on TikTok.
But
I'm a lurker.
Yes, but do send him things. He likes videos about Star Wars and he likes videos about
Stargate.
Stargate
And Lego.
and Pedro Pascal thirst traps. Or is that just me sending them to you?
That is just you, but I don't mind.
It's Pedro Pascal.
Yes,
How do you exactly?
I'm saying I don't mind.
It's like, sure, I don't mind.
It's like Henry Cavill. If he wants to tie me down and whisper computer stuff in my
This
ear.
is going way off base. Let's just end it right here. I would like to formally apologize to hot guys everywhere. I don't know.
Okay, it's time to wrap up. We had a lot of fun revisiting this first season, and we're gonna continue on. So I hope to see you then. We hope to see you then. I am Arne. I'm your host. She's Evie, also a host.
That makes it sound like there's a gold inside of me.
Yes, on brand.
Can you make our eyes flash? That's so much work. Don't do that. That's a lot of work. Okay,
not
you know
that
what?
much work.
Let's just go like
Yeah,
this.
let's wrap it up. See you soon for season 2. Bye.
Bye-bye.